Good morning, Mangal. I am Dr. Chandrasekhar, Professor in Department of Aeronautical Engineering, PSN. Today, we are going to discuss about air traffic control. Air traffic control is a service provided by ground-based controllers who direct aircraft on the ground and in the air. The primary purpose of air traffic control systems worldwide is to separate aircraft to prevent collisions, to organize and expedite the flow of traffic, air traffic, and to provide information and other support for pilots when able. Air traffic controllers are the people who operate the air traffic control systems to expedite and maintain a safe and orderly flow of air traffic and help prevent mid-air collisions. So this figure shows how the air traffic control system works. This is, for example, a flight is flying from Chennai to Delhi. So this air traffic controllers will act both the sides, source and destination. The flight will communicate from destination to source with the air traffic controllers. They will give the instructions. In intermediate way, the air route traffic control centers will communicate with the flights. So, this figure shows an airplane transponder transmit flight data to incoming radar signals. The flight data will transfer to radars and then it will transfer to air traffic controllers. This is a sample figure, air routes and arrival and departure in San Francisco Bay Area. This figure shows the air traffic control tower. This is a flight profile. In this flight profile, first one is pre-flight, takeoff, departure, en route, descent, approach, landing. So source to destination, all the terms will be like this. The various flight profiles, pre-flight. This portion of the flight starts on the ground and includes flight checks, pushback from the gate and taxi to the runway. Takeoff, the pilot powers up the aircraft and speeds down the runway. Then departure, the plane lifts off the ground and climbs to a cruising altitude. Then en route, this is a flying. The aircraft travels through one or more center airspaces and nears the destination airport. Descent, the pilot descends and maneuvers the aircraft to the destination airport. Approach, the pilot aligns the aircraft with the designated landing runway. Then landing, the aircraft lands on the designated runway, taxis to the destination gate and parks at the terminals. So this is a varied flight profile terms. Then the objective of the air traffic services. The objectives of the air traffic services shall be to prevent collisions between aircraft. The next objective is prevent collisions between aircraft on the maneuvering area and obstruction in that area. Expedite and maintain an orderly flow of air traffic and provide advice and information useful for the safe and efficient conduct of flights. Then notify appropriate organizations regarding aircraft in the need of search and rescue aid and assist such organization as required. So these are all of the objectives of the air traffic service. Then major divisions of the air traffic services. The air traffic services comprise the three services identified as follows. One is air traffic control service, flight information service and alerting service. In that, the air traffic control service is our scope area. So it furtherly divided into three categories: area control service, approach control service, aerodrome control service. Air traffic control service. Area control service, the provision of air traffic control service for controlled flights, except for those parts of such flights which are under the jurisdiction of the approach control or aerodrome control, to accomplish the following objectives. One is prevent collision between aircraft and expedite and maintain an orderly flow of air traffic. Then approach control service, the provision of air traffic control service for those parts of controlled flights associated with arrival and departure. Aerodrome control service, the provision of air traffic control service for aerodrome traffic except for those parts of flights which are under the jurisdiction of approach control. The next one is flight information service. It provides advice and information useful for to the flights, useful for the safe and efficient conduct of flights. Then alerting service, notify appropriate organization regarding aircraft in need of search and rescue aid and assist such organization as required. So these are the branches of air traffic control service. Then flight rules. There are two sets of rules for flying any aircraft. One is VFR and another one is IFR. VFR stands for Visual Flight Rules. IFR stands for Instrument Flight Rules. Depending on the weather conditions, a pilot may opt for one set of rules or the other. Mostly, it's a weather that makes the pilot fly VFR or IFR. The major difference between VFR and IFR flying is, VFR normally means see and avoid. Under VFR, an aircraft is flown just like driving a car with eye movement, and the pilot can see where he is going. VFR pilots maintain a see and avoid principle when the usual meteorological conditions VMC are favorable. VFR is the usual way to fly a small aircraft under VRF. A pilot, however, cannot fly through clouds, which means they must go under, around or divert if the clouds form a black air route. In Nepal, for example, a IFR pilot can fly on the visibility of just 1600 meters to 2200 meters depending on the aircraft type, says Ram Krishna Bhatta, an air traffic controller at Kathmandu's Tribhuvan International Airport. Visibility is a measure of distance at which an object or light can be clearly seen. So this is a runway. Based on the visual meteorological conditions, you can use, if it is clear, then you can use visual flight rules. Left side is, you can use visual flight rules. If it is fog or clouds, means you can use instrument flight rules. Visual flight rules. Visual flight rules are a set of regulations which allow a pilot to operate an aircraft in weather conditions generally clear enough to allow the pilot to see where the aircraft is going. Especially, the weather must be better than basic VFR weather minimums as specified in the rules of the relevant aviation authority. If the weather is worse than VFR minimums, pilots are required to use instrument flight rules. Meteorological conditions that meet the minimum requirements for VFR flight are termed visual meteorological conditions, that is called VMC. If they are not met, the conditions are considered instrument meteorological conditions, IMC, and a flight may only operate under IFR. VFR rules require a flight to be able to see outside the cockpit, to control the aircraft altitude, navigate and avoid obstacles and other aircraft. A VFR flight is conducted in accordance with the visual flight rules. An aircraft operated in accordance with the visual flight rules which wishes to change the compliance with the instrument flight rules shall communicate the necessary changes to be effected into its current flight plan, or submit a flight plan to the appropriate air traffic services unit and obtain a clearance prior to proceeding IFR when in controlled airspace. Except when operating as a special VFR flight shall be conducted so that the aircraft is flown in conditions of visibility and distance from clouds equal to or greater than those specified visual meteorological conditions, visibility and distance from the cloud minimum given below. So the left side first column is airspace classes, aircraft classes DNE and FNG. In this minimum altitude, in FNG above 900 meter above mean sea level or above 300 meter above ground level, whichever is higher you have to use, and below 900 meter or above 300 meter AGL, whichever is higher you have to use in class F and G. Distance from cloud, both class D and E and F, 1500 meter horizontally and 300 meter vertically. Clear or in G, clear of cloud and in sight of surface. So similarly the flight visibility is given the data. When the height of transition altitude is lower than 3050 meter AMSL, flight FL100 should be used in lieu of 10,000 feet. Helicopters may be permitted to operate in 1500 meter flight visibility or higher if maneuvered at a speed that will give adequate opportunity to observe other traffic or any obstacle in time to avoid collision. Except when a clearance is obtained from an air traffic control unit, VFR flights shall not take off or land at an aerodrome within control zone or enter the aerodrome traffic zone or traffic pattern. When the ceiling is less than 450 meter or when the ground visibility is less than 5 km, applicable. VFR flights shall not be operated between sunset and sunrise except when exempted by air traffic control for local flights and such training flights for flying club aircraft as may be cleared by air traffic control. VFR flights cannot be operated above FL50 and at transonic and supersonic speeds and more than 100 nautical miles seaward from the shoreline within controlled airspace, except when necessary for takeoff or landing or except by permission from appropriate authority, a VFR flight shall not be flown in over congested area of city, town or settlements or over an open air assembly of persons at a height less than 300 meter above the highest obstacle within the radius of 600 meter from the aircraft. This figure shows the visibility rules. Then another rule is IFR flights, instrument flight rules. Instrument flight rules are regulations and procedures for flying aircraft by referring only to the aircraft instrument panel for navigation. Even if nothing can be seen outside the cockpit windows, an IFR rated pilot can fly while looking only at the instrument panel. An IFR rated pilot can also be authorized to fly through clouds using air traffic control procedure designed to maintain separation from other aircraft. Training is normally done in simulated IFR conditions with training aids such as block halls to help a pilot concentrate only on the instrument panel. Most scheduled airline flights operate under IFR. VFR are often used for sightseeing flights, aerial photography, or lift services for parachute jumping. Pilots flying under VFR are not permitted to fly through clouds. Many non-commercial private recreational aircraft also operate under VFR whenever the sky is clear. Under VFR, the pilot is primarily responsible for navigation, obstacle clearance, and maintaining separation from other aircraft using the see and avoid concept. All aircraft shall be equipped with suitable instruments and navigation equipment appropriate to the route to be flown, except when necessary for takeoff or landing or when specially authorized by the appropriate authority. An IFR flight shall be flown at a level that is not below the established minimum flight altitude or when no such minimum flight altitude had been established. Over high terrain or in mountainous areas at a level which is at least 600 meter above the highest obstacle located within 8 kilometer of the estimated position of the aircraft or elsewhere at a level at least 300 meter above. An aircraft electing to change the conduct of flight from IFR to VFR shall notify the appropriate air traffic services unit, especially that the IFR flight is cancelled and communicate the changes to be made to its current flight plan. When an account according to operating under IFR is flown in or encounters visual meteorological conditions, it shall not be cancel its IFR flight rules unless it is anticipated and intended that the flight will be continued for a responsible period of time in interrupted visual meteorological conditions. This figure shows the instrument flight panel and en route guidance. Then airspace types. Different types of airspace is classified based on the ATC usage. It's broadly classified into two. One is controlled airspace, another one is uncontrolled airspace. In controlled airspace, ATC services are provided throughout the majority of airspace and its services are available to all users, private, military and commercial. When controllers are responsible for separating some or all aircraft, such airspace is called controlled airspace. In uncontrolled airspace, in contrast to uncontrolled airspace, is the airspace where the aircraft may fly without the use of the air traffic control system. Based on the ATC services in India, the airspace is classified into Class D, E, F, G. Class D, IFR and VFR flights are permitted and all flights are provided with air traffic control service. AFR flights are separated from the other IFR flights and receive traffic information in respect of VFR flights. VFR flights receive traffic information in respect of all other flights. Airspaces in terminal areas, control zones and aerodrome traffic zones can be classified and designated as Class D airspace. Class E airspace, IFR and VFR flights are permitted. IFR flights are provided with an air traffic control service and are separated from other IFR flights. IFR flights receive traffic information in respect of VFR flights. VFR flights receive traffic information in respect of all other flights as far as is practical. Class E is not used for control zones. Airspaces is designated ATS routes outside terminal areas, control areas and control zones where air traffic control service is provided have been classified and designated as Class E airspace. Class F airspace, IFR and VFR flights are permitted. All IFR flights receive an air traffic advisory service and all flights receive flight information service if requested. Airspaces in designated ATS route segments outside terminal areas, control areas and control zones where air traffic advisory service is provided have been classified and designated as Class F airspace. Class G airspace, IFR and VFR flights are permitted and receive flight information service if requested. Airspace other than those in Class D, E and F have been classified and designated as Class G airspace. So the Class D airspace, the type of flight, IFR, and the separation should be provided from IFR flights. And services provided in Class D airspace, air traffic control service, traffic information about VFR flights, and traffic avoidance advice on request. The speed limitation in Class D airspace is 250 nautical IAS below 10,000 feet AMSL. Radio communication requirement as per ATC is continuous two-way radio communication is required. Subject to an ATC clearance is required. In Class D airspace, VFR flights, there is no separation shall be provided, and services provided to be IFR, VFR, and VFR traffic information. Then speed limit is 250 nauticals IAS below 10,000 feet AMSL. The two-way continuous radio communication is required for VFR flights in Class D airspaces. They have to get ATC clearance also. In Class E airspaces, for IFR flights, separation should be provided IFR from IFR. The services will be air traffic control service and as far as practical traffic information about VFR flights. The speed limitation is same as Class D airspaces, 250 knots IAS below 10,000 feet AMS. The two-way communication, radio communication is required, and ATC clearance also should be get for IFR flights. For VFR flights, separation, there is no separation shall be provided. The services provided is traffic information as far as practical, you have to provide the service. Speed limitation is 250 knots. There is no radio communication required, no ATC clearance required for VFR flights in Class E services. Okay. Then Class F airspace, for IFR flights, separation provided is IFR from IFR as far as practical. Air traffic advisory service, flight information service should be provided. Speed limit is 250 for Class IFR and VFR, both VFR flights. For IFR flights, continuous two-way radio communication is required. But there is no need of getting approval from ATC. Then Class D airspaces, for IFR flights and VFR flights, there is no separation shall be provided. Then flight information service should be provided. Speed limit is 250 nautical for both IFR and VFR. For IFR flights, there is two-way radio communication, continuous radio communication is required. There is no need of clearance shall be kept. Application of air traffic control service is air traffic control service shall be provided to all IFR flights in airspace classes D and E, to all VFR flights in airspace class D, to all special VFR flights, to all aerodrome traffic and controlled aerodromes. So this is a major difference between VFR and IFR rules. In VFR, pilot navigates and flies by looking out the window. In IFR, pilot navigates using instrument in the cockpit. In VFR, pilot uses the view of the window to keep the aircraft straight and level, and he navigates from place to place by looking at things on the ground, roads, rivers, buildings. But IFR, it is not necessary for him to look out the window, and in fact, pilot flying IFR can fly to his destination even if the windows are covered by cardboard. VFR pilots also must keep their eyes open for other airplanes nearby so that they don't hit anyone. In IFR, pilots work in conjunction with the air traffic controllers who use radar to advise IFR flights of other aircraft in the area, thereby maintaining a safe distance between them. VFR operation is not safer than IFR because it cannot be carried out in any type of weather by looking out window. In IFR is safer than VFR because it can be carried out in any type of weather regardless of the visibility. Flying rules: VFR, flying IFR not complicated. In IFR, flying IFR is much more complicated than VFR and requires much more training and practice. Okay, thank you.